Hey guys, this is Drew from MVP. So we've just been going over some of our hip flexor stretches. I also want to incorporate our quadricep stretches as well because they're a really shared muscle group. Because our rectus femoris and our three quad muscles all have a knee extension movement. If the rec fem is tight, it often means that the quadriceps will be tight because that is kind of fascial connection. There's synergistic kind of relationship between the two muscles. So I want to run you through how to stretch out your quadriceps properly. There's a couple of different ways we can do it. So I'm going to teach you the most simplest way to stretch your quads out, which you're probably already doing if you didn't realize you're doing, and that's kneeling. So if you are kneeling down on the floor and you can get your sit bones to rest onto your heel bones, so your ischial tuberosities onto your calcaneus, alright, good posture, you're going to get great mobility and flexibility. You're going to have good mobility in the joint and great flexibility through the quadricep. So just sitting on your knees for a minute a day will maintain your good quad length. How simple is that? Often people, when they start sitting like this, it's really, really uncomfortable for them, so they need to just, like any exercise, take their time and gradually work into it and progress into it. Particularly for a cyclist, people do a lot of bike riding, quads are always going to be a muscle that's going to be tight. So just as a general rule, if you can sit like this, you're going to have good range of movement in your quads. If you come down to a kneeling position and you're kind of like floating up in the air and that you literally can't get down further because you're so tight here, that's not really a great range of movement. We would definitely want to work on that because it's going to restrict your ability of your knee to go through flexion extension and the ability of your hip to go through flexion extension at both joints, and that's going to create wear and tear long term. So we definitely want that mobility so we can maintain great tissue integrity and joint integrity. So this is version 1. Okay. But version 2 is you can take this stretch a little bit further if you want to, and just bring your hands behind, and then just come onto your fists or your flat palm, and just work your way back. Okay. And you're going to get a little bit more abdominal flexibility here. Now there's another yoga move called fish where you go right back onto the floor, which looks super cool and it's kind of sexy, but in terms of flexibility for your quads, it's a little bit excessive. You don't really need to go there, and it puts a lot of loading into your lumbar spine if you don't know how to do it correctly. So for most of the clients I work with who are coming off back injuries, just coming into this position is quite nice, and then we can use a bit of a push that fist into the floor, lift the chest up, draw the shoulder blades together, and we get a bit of a pec minor chest release, which is brilliant as well, and some bicep here as well. So this is going to lead us into another yoga move, which we call camel, which we'll get to. Okay. So lifting the chest up, eyes to the ceiling, pushing down to the floor, and then if you want to, the next version is we come up, a bit of a butt squeeze, and push the hips towards the ceiling, squeezing the butt, and then you're going to really get a nice stretch across the top here because we're activating the butt with their gluteal muscles, which is the antagonist opposite to our hip flexor quad group. So when they're on, that relaxes these muscles. So it's a really nice way of neurologically relaxing your hip flexor and your quad group. And relax. Just be cautious though, because you're coming up, you're going to put a fairly big your lumbar spine into extension, so it's going to put some pressure on your lower back. So if you're not used to it, you've just got to really take your time and ease your way into it. So for getting quad flexibility, this is a great way to start. The second way is probably the most common, which will be a standing quad stretch. So when we're doing a standing quad stretch,